I'll come right out and say it. While I believe that all religions are wrong, I don't believe they are all equally misguided. I'll clarify that in a little while. I also do not believe that all political ideologies are equal. This is for some reason more obvious to most people. If you fail to see the discrepancy here, I suggest you watch my video, The Great Taboo. Okay, concrete example time. Fascism is an ideology of us against them, teaching that some people are just meant to rule all other people, by nature or God or whatever. The most commonly known fascist implementation is Nazism. But remember, the German Nazis were joined by fascists from around the world. Mussolini in Italy, Franco in Spain, Emperor Hirohito in Japan, the Grand Mufti Muhammad al-Husseini of Jerusalem, and many others. The total list of Axis powers, depending on how you count the puppet states and controlled territories such as Denmark, Norway, and France, numbers somewhere between 10 and 20. Yet history remembers a war against Germany and Japan, where it should remember a war against fascism. This was very clearly a clash of ideologies, a clash of civilizations, if you will. We, the liberalists, libertarians, freethinkers, the Democrats, the good guys, if you will, won. But we have to remember something that happened before that time, so that we can learn from history and not be forced to repeat its mistakes. Before Hitler attacked Poland in 1939, nobody believed it would actually come to a war of these proportions. Winston Churchill, who warned the British public what was coming, who saw the danger, was viewed as an extremist, which indeed he was in so many ways. History has forgotten this, and only remembers him as the one who led Britain to victory. But we must remember who he was before the war, the single voice of warning against the coming darkness. As we know, the voice was not heard, because he was just a delusional extremist. Today, the world is in the same position. A few voices of warning are speaking out, and they are growing larger, more common every day. But the question remains, will the free world hear them and act upon them before we stand on the brink of the Third World War, another clash of ideologies? I come back now to the topic of religions not being equal. Most religious authorities today recognize the individual's right to hold a different belief. There is one notable exception. One religion that is so self-assured as to know that it alone holds the truth. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, now would be a good time to take your head out of the sand. Islam is not only a religion, it's also a political ideology. Most people, in the West at least, miss the curve here, because we are so used to the thought that religion is a personal issue that it doesn't even cross our minds. But Islam is a religion whose main tenet is that it alone is fit to be the law of the land. Yes, most Western countries have laws that are loosely based on Christianity, but we have, for the most part, gotten rid of this religious infestation of our lawmaking process, the United States of America being a notable exception. And either way, Christianity and Islam are not interchangeable. Christianity's main protagonist, if you will allow me to use that term, is a peace-loving, lowly hermit with no clothes except what he's wearing, not a lot of money, riding on the back of a donkey. Islam's prophet was a political leader, a warrior priest, who used his army to spread his religion from Medina, where he gained control, to Mecca, and from there to the rest of the Arabian Peninsula. Over 300 years ago, these two religions fought their last major battle at Vienna in the middle of Europe on the 11th and 12th of September 1683. Today, we stand at the brink of a reiteration of that war, and the first shot was fired on September 11th, 2001. The enemy this time is not fascism, it's Islamofascism. Out of a religion of over 1 billion people, more than half throughout the world believe the attack on the World Trade Center was justified. If even half of these are willing and able to fight for their beliefs. We are facing an army larger than any other on the face of the earth. And most Western liberals, including until recently me, are burying their heads in the sand, claiming that this is not a clash of civilizations, this is not a war of religion. Every world leader of every major Western power is saying this, in the face of overpowering evidence. No matter how misguided you consider the beliefs of these religious fanatics to be, no matter how many peaceful Muslims go out and say these are not real Muslims, they're still out there, growing in number every day. Their numbers are growing at a rate of 2 to 1 compared to Westerners, simply on the basis of childbirth ratios. And this time, some of them have infiltrated us and are attacking us from within. The hijackers of September 11th trained in flight school in the US. The bombers of 7/7 in London were citizens of Britain. I believe that most Muslims in Western countries do not want this war. But it is a fact that upwards of 40% of them would like Sharia law instated in their new homelands. We need to get our heads out of the sand and realize that the only peace radical Islam wants to see is world peace under Muslim leadership. I leave you with one question. Will our voices be heard, as Winston Churchill's was not? Or will we have a third world war within our lifetimes?